We'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Monday, August 19th, regular meeting of the Nicholas County Board of Education. At this time, please stand for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Please join the board with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda. Anything we need to?
As presented.
All right, next, approve the minutes of the meetings held on August 1st and August 5th. August 1st was a work session. August 5th was the regular meeting. Anything that needs to be corrected on those minutes? Mr. Ferguson, you can hear us okay, right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, good shape.
Okay, if there's no corrections, do we have a motion to accept the August 1st and August 5th minutes as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Moose makes a motion, seconded by? Second by Mr. Berry. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Superintendent's information updates. Mr. Bean.
Just have a few things this evening to go over. Of course, today was our first day of instruction, and Mrs. Weitzel and I were out in the schools. I saw 7 and she saw 7, and tomorrow we're reversing our visits so that both of us get in all the schools the first 2 days. And the schools I went to, everything was going fine. We went to Zelo this morning, and as soon as I left, power went out. It was out for a couple hours, but everything went fine. They said they would continue to have school and lunch and all that. But checking the enrollment numbers was something I was really checking on closely. And at the next board meeting, I plan on presenting the board an updated number. The first 2 days of school it always fluctuates a little bit. But it did appear that Nicholas County High School had an increase in their enrollment, a significant increase, what I would call significant. We'll talk more about that in the next board meeting. But anyway, also today was the first day that our dress code and cell phone policies were put into effect, or the directives, for a better term. When we talked about cell phones, you know, I kind of talked just about cell phones, but that also included things like AirPods and the Apple Watches the kids wear that has the music and the communication with. So it's really personal communication devices. I'm happy to report our first day, we only had one phone that a student had to give up their phones for the rest of the day. In 2 high schools and 2 middle schools, that's pretty good. So I was real pleased with that. I think they're starting to understand that we're not trying to ban cell phones from them at all in totality, only during instructional time. And so they still have a chance on the buses or in their, between classes or at lunch to be on their phones. So we're not trying to stop that. But like I did say many, many times, I'll repeat it once more, that if this does not work, then we will move to a more serious consequence and a more strict policy. The dress code is also in effect, and I was at the high school and middle school on the social wing today. Saw one young lady who probably could have done a bit better job with her dress, but as a whole, I did see a difference, and even the principals told me they saw a difference in the students, the way they dressed. So that's a good thing. And the little girl, the young lady who came a little bit inappropriate, it wasn't over the top, but it was something we're trying to correct. I'm looking closely at things like the holes above the mid-thigh in the jeans. That's one of the things we're really looking at. And that was the instance here. That was the only case that I saw that was egregious. The others were, was pretty much within the limits we're asking for. Now, we know that first few days of school, maybe they're a little more observant of it, and just want to remind our principals and teachers to keep this in the forefront of their minds and making sure that we do follow these policies, and I think it's going to make our school system better. We had our cornerstone ceremony on Saturday, and now city construction can go full force into building the rest of or getting our building started. There already is some blocks, laid already, and now if it dries up a little bit, we can get it back on site and get things moving. A couple other real quick things. Somebody showed me a picture today, and I don't remember who it was now, maybe Mrs. Weissel, maybe somebody else, but somebody showed me a picture of Nixon County High School open house. And they say that when kids get out of elementary school, parents don't really care about coming to open house. And they had a huge crowd at Nixon County High School. I was tickled to death to see it. But I need to give a shout out and a thank you to the soccer coaches at Nixon County High School, because they scheduled their practice around it so the parents could go to the open house, which I thought was really a great thing for them to do. So we're real happy with the turnout at Nixon County High School. I'm sure there's others that had good turnouts also. But like I say, a lot of times high schools don't get the parent involvement that we'd like to see. And so that was nice to see. The last thing is something that seems like every meeting I have to bring up a little something that rubs people a bit the wrong way, and that's not my intent. But we have a working relationship with the Falter Shelter. And we have students that we place in our schools that in the past had attended, the girls were attending Richwood High School and the boys were attending Nixon County High School. And I guess I can understand a little bit behind the reasoning to do that. But this year I made the decision to send them all to Nixon County High School for 2 or 3 reasons. First of all, next year, hopefully, we're going to be in our new building at Richwood, and those students would not have the option of going that far to go to school from the Falter Shelter. That's one, so we want to go ahead and start that transition now. But the bigger reason for now is that the kids that went to Richwood High School had to leave their last period's class about halfway through class to get back to catch the bus to go home. So they were missing half of their last period. Now last year, they had a flex schedule for 8th period. We don't have an 8-period day now, we have a 7-period day. And so a lot of those 7 periods could very easily be core classes. And we did not want our students missing half of their core class every day. So that could be a problem with Civil Rights Union and everybody else for them not getting the same opportunities that the rest of the kids get. So I made that decision to put all those kids at Nixon County High School, and so that's just, it is what it is. We're going to stick with that, and like I said, next year those kids will be going there anyway, because hopefully we'll have our new building ready for our new students sometime during next school year. And that's all I have.
Okay, next we have the recognition of the graduating LPN students. So I think we only have one of those. Mr. Bayless will come up, and Ms. Rapp, want to help you?
Yes, she's supposed to. She's reluctant.
She tried to get out there.
I tried to get her to do it for me, but it didn't work. Well, we do want to recognize our 4 LPN graduates. Now these students, the way I understand, they completed all their high school graduation requirements and all the requirements for the associate's degree in nursing at the same time upon completion of high school. And that's a big deal. And let you guys know a little bit about the background. They attended the Tech Center as a sophomore and did 1 year of nursing. Then as a junior and a senior, they completed all their high school requirements within 1 year. Then as a senior, they went off campus to New River and did all their LPN requirements to graduate. So not only did they get an associate's degree in nursing, but they also passed the nursing test to be licensed practical nurse. And there's 4 of them, and I believe These are our first four in our county, but also the first four in the state to do this upon graduation, so we're really proud of these students. So we have Courtney Maddy, we have Amber Strode, and Shaylee Morrison. But with us today, we have Jaden Smith. So Jaden, if you would come up here, please. And she starts work, her first day of work tomorrow. So we want to wish you luck tomorrow, first day of work. So please come up here and get a picture taken for the board.
I think all four of these girls, right, all four are starting tomorrow at the nursing home. Oh, wow. I think they.
Wow. Y'all starting tomorrow. I had this, thank you, old man.
Hey,
Good job. Congratulations. Great job.
just another tidbit of information from you all. One of the girls, Amber Strode, was valedictorian of the whole LPN New River class, adults included. Oh, wow. I'm extremely proud of this.
You should have.
Okay, Ms. Kim, do we have any delegations?
No, sir.
Thank you. Action items, discussion with possible action on approval of the Farm Safety Day. Brian Sparks, he can't attend, but this is the same program we've had for years. When I was teaching, not too long ago, my fourth grade students went to this, or I went with them when they were in third grade, excuse me. Anyway, it's a very good program. It's in your board packet. Does anybody have any discussion about it?
It is October 16th at Memorial Park for all the third grade students.
Say that again.
October 16th at Nichols County Memorial Park for third graders.
Well, let's start about eight or 9.
About 9, I think.
And I'm sure Mr. Stump is aware of the date and all that.
I just got that date this evening.
Yes, he spoke, or I put him over to speak with him today.
Okay. All right, the other action item we have tonight is, was there any discussion on the Farm Safety Day? Sorry. Did you lose anything? Mr. Ferguson, you good?
If I can get it off mute, I'm good, yes. No problem.
Okay, thank you. The other discussion item is B, discussion with possible action on approval of the arts and education contract for Mount Lookout Elementary. And Dr. Lee, same as last year, correct?
Well, this is a little bit different in the fact that Mrs. Duffield had written a grant to the state's arts department to fund additional art cart for lower grade students. So we just have to sign that we accept the grant and use it the way that the grant stated.
It's the Art and Humanity.
Mhm. Yeah, the Art and Humanity Council.
That's the one that has the match.
No, it was a straight out.
Yes, it's a straight out, but they want to see what services you have to match. But we've already committed to doing 4th and 5th grade, but
So
she
that would
wanted
be
to
our-
add additional grades.
That would be our match.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any questions, discussion? If not, do we have a motion to accept action items A and B? Mr. Berry makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. Motion unanimous. Finance.
Okay, first I want to mention that the buses for Farm Safety Day would be covered by the levy, where we have educational enhancement funds there. That's one of the things that we use that for, busing connecting. Under finance, the first item is payment of current invoices, and I know that you guys just got those today, and I apologize, because we had some printer malfunctions, so if you need to take a minute to look at that, and let me know if you have questions.
The check here for ZMM, is that, was that Richwood site or the Cherry River site or the Lake Creek site or a combination?
I think there's 2 checks in there for the M&M, and there'd be 1 for each. It might not be on the same page, but normally we're invoiced each month from them, and part of it is for one site and
I
parts
see
of the
that.
other.
What's a tilt skillet? Or,
Sherry, what's a tilt skillet?
Think of a big electric skillet at your house, except
Oh, it's used in the.
it's in the kitchen,
Okay.
yes.
It's real.
I didn't know explain that, it's a big electric skillet. I also got a grant for that.
Yeah. I saw that. Right.
I noticed, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, $75 for the 5th grade fun run. I'm assuming that's probably out of levy funds as well. Is that covered out of
Yes.
levy?
Yes, the busing for that day also is covered out of the levy.
Do the libraries have to apply for their allotment, or is that just automatic?
They just send an invoice and then we pay.
They send it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have anything?
Okay, the next item is contracts, and we have one, and it is for Mountain State ESC, and that is for mentoring services to the finance office. The Office of School Finance at the Department of Ed decided that because there's so much turnover in a treasurer position, that anybody who has a new treasurer, for 3 years, they want that treasurer to be able to have mentoring help, and hire an outside person who maybe has a former treasurer to help with, just guidance or questions or just anything that treasurer would need to keep the turnover low, because there's high turnover in that area. So in order to fund that, they're going to give each county that has a new treasurer within the past 3 years, $20,000 grant to pay for those expenses. So because our situation in Nicholas County is a little bit different, because I have been here for a long time, and I have Sarah, who's already being paid by us, and I don't really need as much mentoring help as some other counties would. They're going to allow us to just contract with Mountain State, and then Mountain State would be able to cover any questions that I have for Kevin about any, anything that maybe happened in the past, anytime I need to call him and ask him about something prior. So that way we can reimburse them for his time, and then for the extra money that we'll have, because that will cost us $20,000, they're going to allow me to use that for any other kind of training that we need in the finance office. That would be possibly even, we may be hiring staff, we might have some staff leaving here in the next year. And so if we need to do some training for new staff coming in, then we could use that money for that.
So even like payroll or?
Right, yeah. So that is what that contract is all about. After that, we have bids, and we have one for Cardinal Photographics for Summersville Middle School pictures and yearbooks, and TSS Photography for Richmond Middle School photography. And I think for the most part, usually those schools only get one bid. Let me see. Those specified. They don't, but normally that's how those bids work. And then we have supplements and transfers for the month of July. At the beginning of the year, we'll have a lot of those because we get our new grants to start our year. So there are a few CTE, and those are just our normal programs that we have every year for the most part. Some special ed, some more CTE. These are mostly just regular grants that we get each year to operate. We have the community and schools, we have the second year of that we've budgeted.
Any questions?
Then we have out-of-state travel requests. And student transfer requests.
On the transfers, I noticed number 29, the pending, is that because it might put us over on in a classroom?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm sure these folks realize that we approve it, but if it's gonna cause us to have to hire another teacher, that they have to go back to their,
And that's what they're explained at the time that they submit.
I mean, I'd hate to do that, but
And we would too.
Chip, the only thing I noticed there, was on number 10 and 11, it looks like it's Great Creek Elementary, to Great Creek Elementary.
I had
I
that.
didn't really,
We're getting
I
caught
didn't
back.
really understand that.
We're trying to get caught back up. Some of them have not done this in the past. So this is a new process for people to do. But they are out of district, but they went to that school last year. So they will now be in our database as out of district. And some of them have.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. It's because they were attending Glade Creek, but they're out of district, so they have to kind of reapply to be transferred to Glade Creek.
Yes.
I had the same question. I had the same question the other day. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions for Ms. Kristen? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to accept the finance 1, 2, 3, 4, out-of-state travel request 1 and 2, and then the student transfer request 1 through 58? Mr. Green makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Berry seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimous. Thank you. Personnel.
Good evening. The personnel is as presented, but I do want to let you know, starting in September, all the personnel will be on the second agenda of the month, just to make it a little bit more condensed and concise. But we still have the hiring privileges, so we are moving people and getting them in positions just as fast as we can. That's why you'll see some effective dates out from each person. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
How many positions are we filling with substitutes right now?
That's a moving target, quite a few. We have 2 special education positions. We have a 5th grade. We just haven't been able to secure certified applicants. Now, we have some long-term subs that are in for some FMLA, maternity leave, and some other reasons. But right now, we have 4 positions that we have a long-term sub in that we cannot find applicants for. No, 5, I'm sorry, 5.
Qualified applicants. You can't find qualified applicants for those, yes.
Certified,
Yeah, certified.
yes, that's correct.
Any questions for personnel?
Kelly, I noticed that Brian Bain resigned as head soccer coach, and we're in soccer season. I assume, and I hate to assume things, that Jeremy Bandy was probably assuming that role until it'd be formally approved. And do you anticipate that there'll be an assistant soccer coach?
We, just as soon as I got that resignation, I went ahead and put a posting up to fill that position. So yes, I do assume that the head soccer coach is currently working with both groups like they did in the past. But that position has already been up and should be coming down.
Well, actually, it was Brian that was working with both, and then Jeremy Bandy was his assistant, and they were working with both. We hired a new boys coach,
Yes, we
but
did.
it'd be on the girls coach that Brian was resigning from, and I think that Jeremy's on that side. But we're in season, so, I mean, they started season, so I assume somebody's, taking that responsibility on.
Well, yes, I would assume, and we still have the same number of coaches that we had last year. We have 2, and we had 2 last year, so not in the same capacity, but yes, I assume that they're working it out.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on personnel?
If I could have an executive session at the end of the board meeting to discuss personnel.
Okay, just before adjournment. Okay. All right, if there's no other discussion, do we have a motion to accept the personnel agenda as presented?
I'll make that motion, Chip.
Thank you. Mr. Ferguson makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Berry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimous. Thank you. Reports. SESC, Mr. Ferguson.
Nothing to report. Actually, the next meeting's this Wednesday.
Thank you, sir. Bright Horizons, Mr. Green. Nothing this time. Thank you. Items for future agendas. We do need to come up with some goals for our superintendent. So that needs to be on the next agenda, correct?
Should be, yes.
And so we each can give him a couple, or we can have an executive session and decide, talk about maybe some of the ones that we might want to do, whatever y'all want to do. So that's one thing for future agendas. Anybody else have anything for future agendas? I would like to see, and I'm not certainly trying to make our meetings longer, but there's some counties that have a item on their agenda called Matters of the Board. And those are things that throughout the week or couple weeks before a board meeting, when citizens might come to you with something and you want to discuss it with the board or tell the board about it, or if you've been to a school and you want to make tell what you observed while you're at that school, if you want to brag on a school or something like that. So I'd like to see us add that to our agenda.
I had board acknowledgements on my board agenda, and it was just a catch-all for acknowledgements or just anything that you wanted to share.
And I'm certainly, and we don't each, not every one of us has to have something every week, but I know occasionally some people see things and they want to get them out there. And I'm just going to go ahead and start it this evening, so it's not on here. I want to publicly thank Mike Williams for, over the weekend, we had a a family that lost their home last Friday morning. And anyway, he took, you know, we have McKinney-Vento money for this, but he met them on his own time over the weekend, on Sunday, correct? And I know he didn't do this for me to brag on him, but I want to publicly thank him, because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes from our central office staff that people don't know. And I think the public should know that we watch out for our kids. Thank you.
Now, would you prefer that to be towards the beginning of the agenda or towards the end of the agenda, the acknowledgements?
I think towards the end,
Okay.
and that way, if it's a long meeting, maybe.
Be short speech.
But, yeah, I think towards the end. What do y'all think?
We had it in Pocahontas County too, and we had it just before adjournment, that's what they did.
And like I said, you don't have to have something every week, but you may have been to a school or an event, or you saw something, you want to recognize somebody, or brag on them a little bit.
Or there could be something that you would like one of our directors to check into, and then they told me they'd have an answer for you.
Okay. Future meeting dates, regular meeting Tuesday, September 3rd, here at the board office, starting at 5 p.m. Right, Labor Day's on Monday, so that's a Tuesday meeting at 5. So, we have a need for an executive session for personnel, so at this time, if somebody would make that motion.
I'll make a motion to do it.
Mr. Berry makes a motion to an executive session, seconded by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye.